So I published a book about 20 years ago that sold well over 20,000 copies, but as things happen, sales didn't last forever, and we had some books left over. So I decided to give those books to a minister who had a prison ministry. He wanted to give the books away, and I would give the books to him, but there was another person involved, and that person was, in my opinion, the narcissist. The narcissist had arranged for my books to be stored in a warehouse for free. Nice guy. But the problem was, and I didn't know this, the narcissist apparently was stealing the books. Okay, he later admitted to taking them, but he was taking the books and selling them for scrap without telling me. So when I went to pick up the books to give them to the minister, guess what? The books were gone. Now, that was the end of the story as far as my relationship with the narcissist is concerned. So I went to the police and I said, hey, I have all these books and they were stolen. And the police came out and did a police report. But when they interviewed the narcissist told the police that I gave the books to him. So he admitted taking them. But he had this excuse that, yeah, I took them, but Ken said I could have them. Again, that was the end of the relationship. All right, now why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because I want to address the question, what happens when the narcissist knows that he is lost? When he comes to the end of his, what would you call it, the end of his line, the end of his season of controlling you, that he knows that you are onto him, what happens? Well, what happens is, number one, narcissists don't like to lose, and they don't like to admit that they lost. That's important because there is nothing more important to a narcissist than protecting his ego. Give you a good example. What would happen if somebody tried to, right now, what would happen if somebody tried to poke you in the eye? What would you do? You would defend your eye, right? You can't help but to do that. It's very natural. You would lift your hand up, and when the person tried to poke your eye, you would stop them because that hurts. Well, a narcissist who loses takes that as a very painful poke to the eye. He doesn't like that at all, or she doesn't like that at all. They don't like to lose. They don't like to admit they lost, but this narcissist was found out. It was the end of the rope for him. Now what? Well, second thing is it's understood that the game is over, but no, not for the narcissist. The game is not over. The game just changes strategy. It's like the second quarter of a basketball game. He moves on. He's got other things to do. And what is he going to do? He is going to try to get supply out of you. What is supply? That is anything that boosts his ego, but the way he used to boost his ego by taking advantage of me as a friend now turns to something very different. That is boosting his ego by attacking me as an enemy. Number three, he remained in the peripheral. That is to say, he wasn't full view in front of me. He's still out there, and he knew that I knew it, and something akin to stalking. So we had this massive paradigm shift. Now, in case you haven't figured it out, this is where the smear campaign really intensifies. And I say intensifies because with narcissists, there is always a smear campaign. They keep it very subtle at the very beginning, but if you befriend a narcissist, from day one, they are trash talking you behind your back. Typically, that's been my experience. Anyhow, and here I am in my 70s, and I've learned a thing or two. And what I've learned is that narcissists, at least those that I've been associated with, unfortunately, they have constant, nonstop smear campaigns going on. Not just against you, but against just about anybody and everybody that they know. How do I know that? Well, because if you hang out with a narcissist, they can't help but talk about it. They talk about other people. They talk about how other people are arrogant, self-centered, narcissist, even though some narcissists don't even know the word narcissist. All right. So number 4 is this. They're now engaged in the smear campaign, and what they're going to do next is they're going to use flying monkeys to get you. What's a flying monkey? I don't like that term. but everyone seems to be using it so they know what it means. But what happens is the narcissist use other people to do his or her bidding. They attack you vicariously through other individuals. These individuals are your friends. You thought they were your friends, but what happened is the narcissist went to your friends, told them rather that you were the bad guy, and now your friends believe the narcissist. Why is that? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a mind reader, but I do know that it happens. And it not only happened to me, but as I listen to other people talk about their experiences with narcissists, it seems to be ubiquitous. It's universal. It is everywhere. Wherever there are narcissists, there are flying monkeys. And where there are flying monkeys, there is a smear campaign. And where there is a smear campaign, there are vulnerable, gullible people who believe the lies. Those people, unfortunately, are often your friends. Now, let me say this parenthetically. That's a good thing, in a sense. I mean, it can't, well, let's put it this way. It's not a good thing, but it's a cloud with a silver lining. The silver lining is the narcissist, by way of a smear campaign and using your friends as his or her flying monkeys, purges your friend list. I mean, those people in your circle who were kind of narcissistic, maybe strong narcissistic traits, but what happened is, yeah, they kind of exposed themselves and now they're off the list. Okay, let's tie all this together. How do you avoid narcissists from hurting you? How do you do that? Well, the way that I have found that is most effective, and it's not just an ironclad, surefire way to protect yourself, but make yourself a liability to the narcissist, but not to yourself. Probably the best way to say that. So if a narcissist wants to attack me through a smear campaign, he or she is going to wish he or she hadn't, because they're going to wind up hurting themselves more than they hurt me, and they're going to figure that out. Now, some of them kind of stupid, they're kind of slow. Others are kind of intelligent. They're going to figure it out very quickly. So it may not happen overnight, but then again, maybe it will. But make yourself a liability to the narcissist in that sense, but don't make yourself liable to yourself by engaging with the narcissist.